Okay, welcome everybody. This is my newest Let's Play. I did record a good amount of footage of Total War 3 Kingdoms, but I managed to screw that up and I rage quit because I lost the game. Um, and losing doesn't happen very often for me in Total War games. So instead I'll be taking a look at something completely different. This is Phantasmagoria. There is another Phantasmagoria sequel that I'll probably end up doing as well and put in the same playlist as this. But we'll start with number one. And this is a cult classic game from the mid-90s. It's an adventure game, and I assume in that case it's probably in particular a point-and-click adventure game, because that's this kind of technology that they had back then. And it's very surreal. It has a sort of low fantasy aesthetic as well as the weird surrealist elements. If you know about the dichotomy between high fantasy and low fantasy, if you don't, I won't get into that here. But there's a lot to take in. It's known in the sort of cult video game community for being banned in several countries. And this, in and of itself, isn't that unique, because the 90s had such a... there was such an overarching mindset that people were locked into, that video games were an inherently childlike form of entertainment, and every new video game that came out had to be appropriate for kids. Of course, we know today that that's not even remotely the case, to the point where, 7-year-olds are playing San Andreas, like it's nothing. And even back then, it was, people were getting into mature games at an early age. But it was, they kept going back and forth between all the different ratings agencies and the governments of various countries to get this thing finally cleared for release. And it does have And as you can imagine, the violence is not too over the top. This isn't a military shooter game or anything. The sexual stuff, on the other hand, that's pretty far up there as far as video games go. Video games have always been a lot more prudish about expressing that kind of theme compared to certainly primetime television. Can't even compare to the level that you see there. But let's and we'll see just how good the graphics are. I'm not holding my breath. Even looking at the resolution of this game, for Christ's sakes, maybe I'll have to do some reorienting of the resolution once I look at this initial first episode here. Has a lot of live-action cutscenes, which are considered sort of a quirky little artifact of the 90s. You don't really see that a lot anymore. But I love them. I think they're really charming and unique. Okay, so let's get into it. It should be about 6.5 hours, maybe 7.5 hours at the extreme end of things. And, I'm pretty rusty with games lately anyway, so it might take me even longer. Okay, let's go. Name. Another old school artifact from, 10, 15 years ago. Chapter 1, of course. If I haven't mentioned it before, this is actually a blind Let's Play for me. I think I mentioned it in an earlier take, but not in this take.
Morning, honey.
Good morning, sweetheart.
How about some coffee?
Yeah, big one. Somebody kept me up last night.
Well, I'm sorry. I had a nightmare. You didn't seem to mind so much last night.
Oh, no. It was probably just spending the night in a new house is all.
Yeah, I know. I have to admit, this place is kind of strange.
Yeah, it's different. You know, I bet the guy that built this place must have been really bizarre.
Well, hi, Spaz. How you doing, huh?
What are you gonna do today, sweetheart?
Well, I don't know. I'm almost finished unpacking. Thought maybe I'd do a little exploring.
Yeah.
How about you?
Did you see that bathroom yet on the second floor?
Yeah.
I like that. I think I'm gonna turn it into a photo lab for myself. Keep me busy for a week or so.
That's a good idea.
What's in that box?
Well, I don't know. I haven't gone through it yet. Let's see. Oh, it's Christmas ornament. Oh, look at this.
Why?
Just a sec. You remember this?
Yeah. Yeah, I gave you this for Halloween.
You rat? You know it was Christmas Eve. It was the night you proposed to me.
Are you sure I proposed to you?
Yes.
Of course I remember. Of course I do.
You're forgiven.
I better get to work. I got a lot to do. I'm gonna keep this little fella with me, though. So I'll always remember that fateful night.
Well, don't work too hard. See you later.
Huh. Guess I'll have to figure out the mechanics on my own. Don't know if there's a tutorial of any kind. And look at her wandering around. Look. It's a live action actress in the middle of the screen there. Huh. So going through back there. Wait. Let's sit in the chair. Nothing. Is exit supposed to... Oh, yeah. So apparently you go back, you sit in the chair, and then you, like, are presented with the exit game button, which is kind of weird. Like, you have to be in a certain spot to exit. I mean, unless you just Control-Alt-Delete, obviously, but... Let's see. Getting up there. This fast-forward looking button doesn't really do anything. What does this button do? Chapter 1. Movie detail. Well, turn the movie detail to the highest level, because we can handle that for sure on our 2019 gaming laptop. Uncensored.
A bit squeamish, are you? In order to enjoy this game without all of the gory details, please enter a secret password.
So a password to create the censored version or the uncensored version? Or are you creating a password to open up the censored version that then you can use to use the uncensored version? Like, is it for parents' password? So their kids won't see the uncensored version. Huh. That's confusing. Half screen? Full screen. Huh. Half screen and full screen seem to mean the same thing in this game. Okay. It's another angle. Nothing in there. So certainly a point and click of high fidelity for sure. Open up the fridge. Wait, what? So you click on the fridge and then she takes a drink out of the fridge and leaves it alone? Okay. So you can't interact with things. See, most point and clicks, you can't interact with everything, but the things you can interact with will either give you an item to pick up or will make a trigger in the narrative of the game to advance the plot somehow. If you happen to have clicked on something of importance, at least. If you flicked on something that is clickable but is not super important, then it'll normally give you like a voice clip of the main character like narrating what's going on. Like, so for example, in Dreamfall or something like that, you click on a painting on the wall and they give you like a basic thing. This painting, I got it from my mother when I was 10 or something. So maybe it'll make a trigger and advance the story, or maybe it'll just give like you some clues to a mystery that you then have to write down, and you have to keep in a notepad to know what to do later on. But this game apparently don't really do that. It's kind of a red herring. You click on something that doesn't even give you a description of anything. Sitting down. Then you click on the wall, stand up. Okay, let's go back into the kitchen.